Hello, my friend. When your child looks at you, do they see a leader they trust or a boss they fear? Because here's the truth. Your child will remember less about what you say and more about how you make them feel. Oof. Think about it, guys. How many of us, even as adults, still carry the weight of things our parents said or did to us? I can tell you so many of my own personal experience. Maybe they were harsh, maybe they didn't listen, maybe they pushed too hard or not enough. And now, whether we like it or not, we are either repeating their patterns, mistakes, or fighting to unlearn them. So here's my question for you today. What kind of childhood are you repeating or creating for your kids today? Because one day, that childhood will become their adulthood, like where we are today. And whether they thrive or struggle starts with you. Parenting is a school of its own, eh? You know, I used to think parenting was you command them and they fall in line. But parenting is not about control. It's about connection. And the strength of your relationship with your child or children determines everything they become eventually, from their confidence to their future success or how they navigate the world. I wish I knew some of these things before I became a parent. Now I know you're thinking, but Adiola, kids need discipline. You're right, discipline comes from the word discipleship, not beating. Discipleship, you lead. And here's the secret. Discipline without connection leads to rebellion. If you don't connect with them, you are just grooming rebels. You can't just have set rules because they're human beings. You've got to build relationships. And the only way to do that is by first understanding that you are not perfect, but you have to be present. So today, we're going to go deep into how to build a strong, trusting, and unbreakable relationship with our children so that they don't just listen to you when they're young, but they actually come to you when they're also older because they can trust you. Trust me, guys. If you don't get it right, there'll be problems. But if you do get it right, you won't just be raising a good child. You'll be raising a strong, independent, and emotionally secure adult and nation at large. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to build a relationship with your child that lasts a lifetime. That's really what I want for us. And I want to thank you for all those who have liked my videos. It means a lot. If you haven't, like it now. Please subscribe so that you're the first to get new videos when they drop. And share me with others, because I'm worth sharing, aren't I? Don't keep me to yourself. Share me with others. Now, my first question for you today is, does your child feel seen, heard, and valued? Or are they just managed by you? When they asked me this question, it was tough, because many parents focus on controlling behavior rather than understanding the emotions behind the behavior. But a child who doesn't feel seen, heard, or valued will eventually stop communicating. There's a danger of the efficient parenting. You know, I must be. You know, when life gets so busy, you fall into the habit of giving instructions. You just command instead of having conversations. Let's talk about this. And parents often talk at their children instead of talking with them. Two different things. And talking at them leads to emotional disconnection. After a while, they're just like, you know what, there's no point. Daddy's not going to listen to me. Mommy is not going to listen to me. There's no point. They don't get me. There's also a power of validation. Your child doesn't need you to agree with them all the time, and you can't. But they need to feel like their thoughts and emotions matter to you, because they're looking at you. You're their mirror to themselves. When children feel dismissed, they stop sharing. Even as adults, when you feel dismissed, you stop sharing. And it leads to rebellion, it leads to secrecy, or just emotional distance. Now, are there strategies that you can practice? Absolutely. Instead of shutting down your emotions or shutting down their emotions by saying, stop crying, you're overreacting, you are too soft, you are too emotional. Say things like, I see you're upset. What's going on? That must have been hard for you. Tell me more. You know, imagine saying that to your child who is crying. That must have been hard for you. Tell me more. You spend 5 to 10 minutes daily with your children where they lead the conversation, not about school, not about chores, not about anything. Let them lead the conversation just because you're a curious parent. I remember a few months ago, my daughter walked into my room crying and said, "Why are you crying, baby? Sit down." So she sat down. She said, I don't know if you would understand what I want to say. And I said to her, I would listen to you. Tell me what's going on. And so she shared how, she wanted to take something and she was told she couldn't take it. And the way she was told hurt her. Especially because I had given her permission to take it anyways, but the person she went to go and meet said no, for whatever reasons, and she felt bad with what had happened. And she thought if she came to report that the person had said no, I would support the person, which I would do sometimes. And, she wasn't sure whether I would be on her side this time around. So when she finished talking, I said, "It's okay to cry, honey. It's okay. If I were you, if I was rejected, or I wasn't given something that I wanted, I will cry too, because it will hurt me. And it's okay, your emotions are valid. If tears were what came out of your eyes and the feelings that you had, then that's fine, I accept your tears." And we spoke for about 15, 20 minutes. And when we were done, she hugged me and said, "Mommy, thank you for listening to me and allowing my emotions come through." Now, my daughter, by the way, is 9 years old. And because I've given her the space and the freedom to tell me anything, she feels confident to come and tell me things. Sometimes she might start, "Oh, Mommy, I don't know, you might be angry, but listen." And I'll say, "I'm not angry. Don't preempt my actions before you tell me. Tell me first." Even when she's lying, I tell her, "I'd rather you tell me the truth. I'd rather. And even if you get a consequence that you don't like, I'd rather you tell me the truth, because that shows both of us that we can trust one another." Now, just a few years ago, I wouldn't have done this. I would have said to her, "Are you all right? Come on. Why are you crying? What are you crying for?" Because that's how my own emotions were dismissed as well. And sometimes still are, even as an adult. But because I know how to regulate my emotions better now, I can ignore some of those things and keep on talking. But for children, they don't have the capacity, they don't have the ability, they don't have the know-how, they don't have the skill. And they're looking at us to teach them that skill, hoping that we know better. And most times the question is, do we? You come back home, you're tired, and I can understand it. You don't want to be spoken to. You just want to go and coil up in your room and lie down. But you've forgotten that you've given your best outside. And then you've come home to these little ones who need your best still, and you've got nothing for them. How do you think they feel at the end of the day? Now, yes, you went out to work. Yes, the money that you're going to make will benefit them. They'll put a roof over their head. They'll put a car on their bum, all those things you say. But the first beneficiary of the work that you're doing is actually you, even before the children. Because you choose the house that you want to live in. They just have to follow you and live there. You choose the car that you want to drive. They just follow you and get into the car. You choose the kinds of food you want to have at home. They have no choice but to eat it. So who is the first beneficiary of the work that you're doing? Ding, 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 ding. It's you. So is there a way that we can stop making them feel guilty for our going to work and saying, "Is it not you I am doing all of these things for?" To be quite honest, they are the secondary reason. You are the primary reason. Your status, your ego, this is what I want. You didn't ask the child, "Can we move from Lekki to Ikoyi?" Because the child has a school that they love to go to with it. You didn't ask them that, you just moved them, right? So who's the beneficiary? However, imagine if your children felt safe. I was listening to a lady who was raped when she was 13. And the counselor asked her, "Who did you tell?" And the lady said, "No one." And he said, the trauma happened before this. Because the fact that you could tell no one meant that you were not safe even before this rape happened. And most people who take advantage of you can smell the fact that you are alone. Oof. When I heard that thing, I'm like, wow. And it made me remember a situation where I also was almost raped. But my street credibility and sense kicked in, thanks to street credibility, that I wriggled myself out of that situation. But even with wriggling out of it for months, I couldn't sleep and I couldn't tell anybody because I didn't trust any of the adults around me. Now, what if that was your child that didn't trust you, couldn't tell you? How would you feel? So I've got an exercise for us today. It's called the last time reflection. I want you to ask yourself this question. When was the last time I made my child feel truly heard without correcting, without judging, or without rushing them? Rushing them is very key, without doing it. When was the last time? And the yes and technique is the next one I want us to do for one full day. Whenever your child shares something, no matter how small, respond to them with yes and that shows curiosity instead of dismissing or redirecting them. Your call to action for today, we're there, guys. If you want your child to feel truly heard, I want you to type "I hear you" in the comments. I hear you in the comments, because parenting is actually about us, the parents, more than the children, and learning to relate with our children in a way that they grow up in a wholesome way can only come from the way you treat yourself and the way you parent yourself. So my question is, are you struggling with being wholesome yourself? Because you cannot give what you do not have. You've got a few options. One, I've got this book, this new book that I'm pre-launching. It's titled "It Transformed You," and the pre-launch price at the moment is 10,000 naira. It goes to 15,000 naira after the pre-launch price. Or book a session with me, today, because we've got so many different courses that you can jump on just by the support that you need. But you cannot give to your children from an empty cup. You've got to fill yourself to overflowing so that your children can tap from your saucer and benefit from the love that you give to yourself, because it's that same love that you'll give to your children. My name is Adiola Kingsley James. Love and light.